I'm standing in my daughter's kitchen, holding the pumpkin pie I spent all morning making, when she says the words that will change everything between us forever. Mom, you're a burden. You always have been. The room goes silent. 20 people, my daughter Linda, her husband Richard, my grandchildren, extended family, friends all, freeze, mid-conversation. Linda sets down her wine glass and turns to face me fully. Her expression cold and rehearsed, like she's been practicing this moment. You're not family anymore. Get out. The pie slips from my hands and shatters on her pristine marble floor. Pumpkin filling splatters across the white cabinets I helped her pick out when they bought this house 3 years ago. The house I gave her $20,000 toward as a down payment gift. Nobody moves to help me clean it up. They just stare. Linda, what are you talking about? My voice sounds small, broken. This is my daughter. The baby I raised alone after her father died. The girl I worked 3 jobs to put through college. The woman whose children I've babysat every week for the past 10 years. Don't play stupid, mother. She spits the word mother like it's an insult. You've been manipulating this family for years. Always inserting yourself where you're not wanted. Always making everything about you. Well, not anymore. Richard and I have discussed it, and we've decided we don't want you in our lives. Richard, her husband of 4 years, the man who barely looked at me when they got married, the man who works in finance and wears suits that cost more than my monthly rent. He's standing behind Linda now, his hand on her shoulder, nodding his approval. But I look at my grandchildren, 15-year-old Emma, 12-year-old Jake, and 8-year-old Sophie. They're sitting at the kids' table, and Emma is crying. Jake looks confused. Sophie is too young to understand what's happening, but she knows something is wrong. The kids will be fine without you poisoning their minds with your toxicity. Linda says she's using therapy words. Words like toxic and boundaries and self-care. Words that sound progressive and healthy but are being weaponized against me. Emma, stop crying. Your grandmother is manipulative. She's been trying to turn you against me for years. That's not true. Emma stands up, tears streaming down her face. Grandma never says anything bad about you. She loves you. Go to your room, Emma. Now. Linda's voice is sharp, authoritative. Emma runs from the room sobbing. Jake follows her, and Sophie scrambles after them, clearly frightened. I'm still standing in the middle of the kitchen, pumpkin pie at my feet, surrounded by silent spectators to my humiliation. Linda's friends from her book club, Richard's colleagues from work, all of them watching, none of them defending me. Linda, please, can we talk about this privately? I don't understand what I did wrong. What did you do wrong? She laughs, but it's not a real laugh. It's performative, meant for the audience. Where do I even start? You're always calling, always showing up unannounced, always criticizing my parenting, always making me feel guilty for not spending more time with you. None of this is true. I call once a week. I only visit when invited. I've never once criticized her parenting. I've watched her snap at those children in ways that break my heart. But I've never said a word because I know how hard motherhood is, and I've never made her feel guilty about anything. If anyone should feel guilty, it's her. She's canceled our last 6 lunch dates. She's been too busy for our weekly phone calls. She forgot my birthday last month. But I don't say any of this, because 20 people are watching, and I still have some dignity left. I think you should leave now. Richard speaks, for the first time. His voice is cold, businesslike, like he's dismissing an employee. Linda's been very patient with you, but enough is enough. It's time for you to accept that you're not welcome here anymore. Richard, please, I'm her mother. I don't know what she's told you, but she's told me everything. He steps forward, positioning himself between me and Linda like I'm a threat, about how you guilt-tripped her into staying local for college instead of going to her dream school. How you've been financially dependent on her for years. How you refuse to get your own life and instead live vicariously through her family. Each accusation hits me like a physical blow. I suggested she stay local for college because her father had just died and she was grieving. She made the final decision herself and told me later it was the right choice. I've never been financially dependent on her. I've never asked her for a penny. And I have my own life. A quiet life, sure, but my own. I volunteer at the library. I have friends. I take art classes. I don't need to live through her. But these lies have been carefully constructed, and I'm realizing, standing here in my daughter's kitchen covered in pumpkin pie, that this isn't a spontaneous outburst. This is planned, rehearsed. Linda has been building a narrative about me for months, maybe years, and now she's executing the final act. I'll go, I say quietly. But Linda, when you realize you've made a mistake, I won't. She crosses her arms. This is the healthiest decision I've ever made. My therapist agrees. Of course. She's weaponized her therapist too, probably spent months painting me as an overbearing narcissist. And the therapist, only hearing one side, validated her decision to cut me off. I walk toward the door, my shoes sticking slightly to the floor where pie filling has spread. I can feel everyone's eyes on me, judging, pitying, or worse, agreeing with Linda. At the door, I turn back one more time. I love you, Linda. I always have. I always will. And I'm sorry for whatever I did to make you feel this way. She doesn't respond, just stands there with Richard's hand on her shoulder. Her expression unchanging, cold, like I'm already a stranger. I drive home in a daze. It's Thanksgiving Day, and I'm alone. The turkey I bought sits in my refrigerator, uncooked. I'd planned to take it to Linda's house tomorrow for leftovers, the way we always did. One day for her to host. One day for us to eat leftovers together and laugh about who ate too much. But there won't be a tomorrow. There won't be any more Thanksgivings together. There won't be any more birthdays or Christmases or random Tuesday afternoons when I pick up the grandkids from school. I've been erased by my own daughter in front of 20 witnesses. I sit in my small apartment, the one I downsized to 5 years ago, after selling my house, and I cry. Not quiet tears, ugly, gasping sobs that shake my whole body. I cry for the daughter I raised, for the grandchildren I'm losing, for the life I thought I had that apparently was all a lie. Around 9 p.m., my phone rings. It's Emma, calling from her cell phone. Grandma. Her voice is thick with tears. I'm so sorry. I don't understand what happened. Why did Mom say those things about you? Oh, sweetheart, it's complicated. It's not complicated. It's wrong. You're the best grandma ever. You never did any of those things, she said. I don't know why she's lying. My heart breaks all over again. Emma, honey, your mom believes what she's saying. Sometimes people remember things differently than how they happened. That's a nice way of saying she's lying. Emma's voice hardens with an anger that sounds too old for 15. Dad just told me and Jake that we're not allowed to talk to you anymore. That if we try to contact you, we'll lose our phones and computers. Then you shouldn't be calling me right now. I don't care. I'm so mad at them. Grandma, this isn't fair. You didn't do anything wrong. Emma, I don't want to cause problems between you and your parents. They're causing the problems, not you. She's crying again. Grandma, I don't want to lose you. You're the only one who actually listens to me. Mom's always too busy, and Dad just agrees with whatever she says. We talk for 20 more minutes. I try to be careful not to say anything against Linda, even though I want to scream about the injustice of it all. Emma tells me that Sophie is confused and keeps asking when Grandma is coming back, that Jake is angry but trying to hide it, that Linda and Richard went to their bedroom after I left and everyone else left shortly after because the mood was ruined. I have to go, Emma finally says. I hear Mom coming upstairs. I love you, Grandma. I love you too, sweetheart, so much. After she hangs up, I sit in the dark and think about what happened, about Richard's hand on Linda's shoulder, about the calculated way she delivered her speech, about the specific accusations being financially dependent on her, manipulating her college choice, living vicariously through her, and then something clicks. The financial dependence accusation. Richard works in finance. Richard, who drives a Tesla and wears expensive suits and lives in a house that's too big for their needs. Richard, who convinced Linda to expand her small boutique into 3 locations last year, overextending her business credit. Richard, who I heard Linda arguing with last month about money. This isn't about me being a burden. This is about them being worried I'm going to become a financial burden. They think I'm going to need help as I get older. They think I'm going to drain their resources with medical bills or nursing home costs. So they're cutting me off now, before I can become a problem. They have no idea at all. I don't sleep that night. I lie in bed, thinking about my daughter and the lies she told, about the grandchildren I might never see again, about the cruelty of being called a burden by the person you sacrificed everything to raise. But I also think about something else, something Linda doesn't know, something I've never told her because I wanted her to make her own way in the world without relying on me. 20-3 years ago, I started a small tech company from my garage. It was just me and a friend, building software for small businesses. We weren't trying to change the world. We just wanted to solve a problem. We saw small businesses needed affordable, user-friendly accounting software. The company grew slowly at first, then faster, then explosively. By the time Linda was in college, we had 300 employees and clients across the country. When she was in graduate school, we were acquired by a major tech corporation. My share of the sale was $12 million. I've never told Linda. Never told anyone, except my lawyer and my financial advisor. I took my windfall and invested it conservatively. I live off the interest and dividends, which is more than enough for my modest lifestyle. I downsized my house not because I couldn't afford it, but because I didn't need all that space. I drive a 10-year-old car not because I'm poor, but because it runs fine and I don't care about impressing anyone. I've been living simply by choice, and all this time, I've been planning to help Linda when she needed it, planning to set up trust funds for my grandchildren's college, planning to leave them a legacy that would secure their futures. Last month, before Linda started avoiding my calls, I spoke with my financial advisor about gifting Linda $500,000. Her boutique business was struggling. I'd seen the stress on her face, heard the worry in her voice when she thought I wasn't listening. I wanted to help. I was going to tell her at Thanksgiving. I was going to give her a check and tell her that she never had to worry, that I believed in her, that I was proud of her. Instead, she called me a burden and threw me out of her house. I get out of bed at 5 a.m. because there's no point pretending to sleep. I make coffee and sit at my kitchen table with my laptop. I pull up my financial accounts and stare at the numbers. $12 million has grown to nearly $18 million over 2 decades of careful investing. I also pull up my will. The current version leaves everything to Linda, with trusts for each grandchild. It's a standard setup. Linda gets control of the trusts until each child turns 25, at which point they receive their full inheritance. I open a new document and start making notes. By the time the sun rises, I have a plan. At 9 a.m., I call my attorney, Jonathan Chen. We've worked together for 15 years. He knows everything about my finances and my family. Margaret, happy Thanksgiving. Is everything all right? I tell him what happened, every detail. He's quiet for a long time after I finish. I'm so sorry, Margaret. That's unconscionable. I need to change my will, Jonathan. Today, if possible. Of course. What changes do you want to make? I want Linda removed as a beneficiary. Everything should go directly to the grandchildren in equal shares, with the trusts managed by you instead of Linda. She gets nothing. Are you sure? This is a big decision. Maybe give it a few days too. I'm 70 years old. Jonathan, I've had 70 years of experience reading people and making decisions. I'm sure. My daughter just publicly humiliated me and told me I'm not family. I'm taking her at her word. All right, I'll draft the new will today. Can you come to my office Monday to sign? I'll be there. After I hang up, I call my financial advisor, Patricia Wang. I tell her the same story. Oh, Margaret, how awful. I'm so sorry. I need you to cancel that $500,000 gift we discussed. Linda won't be receiving anything from me. Consider it done. Is there anything else you need? Actually, yes. I want to set up separate investment accounts for each grandchild. Equal amounts. I'll want them to receive statements when they turn 18 so they know the money exists. But they won't be able to access it until Can you set that up? Absolutely. How much per account? Let's start with $2 million each. We can add more later if needed. Patricia doesn't even pause at the number. She knows my net worth. I'll have everything ready by end of business Monday. Thank you, Patricia. Margaret, for what it's worth, I've met Linda a few times over the years. I always thought there was something off about her. Too focused on appearances, too concerned with what other people thought. I'm sorry she turned out to be exactly what I suspected. After we hang up, I feel something I haven't felt since yesterday. A sense of control, of power. Linda thinks she's won. She thinks she's successfully cut off her embarrassing, needy mother. She has no idea what she's actually done. I spend the rest of the weekend in a strange state of calm. I don't cry anymore. I clean my apartment. I cook the turkey and eat it in portions over 3 days. I watch old movies. I go to bed early and sleep surprisingly well. Monday morning, I dress carefully, not in my usual comfortable clothes, but in the one expensive outfit I own, a designer suit I bought for a friend's daughter's wedding last year. I do my hair and makeup. I want to look like what I am, a woman with options, a woman with power. Jonathan's office is downtown in a gleaming tower. His assistant brings me coffee in a real china cup, not a paper one. Jonathan himself comes out to greet me. Margaret, you look wonderful. How are you holding up? I'm fine, Jonathan. Better than fine, actually. I'm ready to move forward. He leads me to his office and presents me with the new will. It's exactly what I asked for. Linda's name appears nowhere in the document. Everything goes to Emma, Jake, and Sophie in equal shares, held in trust until they turn. Jonathan is named as trustee, with a generous annual fee for managing the trusts. I added a provision, Jonathan says, pointing to a paragraph. If Linda challenges this will or tries to manipulate the children regarding their inheritance, her children's trusts will be frozen until they're 30 instead of 25. It's a protection against her trying to access the money through them. That's perfect, thank you. I sign the document. Jonathan's assistant witnesses it, along with another attorney from the firm. It's official, legal, binding. There's one more thing, I say. I want to write letters to each grandchild, to be delivered to them when they turn 18, along with information about their trusts. Can you hold those for me? Of course. We have a secure storage system for exactly this purpose. I spend an hour in a conference room writing 3 letters, one for Emma, one for Jake, one for Sophie. I tell them what happened. I tell them I love them. I tell them that their mother made choices I didn't agree with, but that I never stopped thinking about them, never stopped loving them. I tell them the money isn't meant to replace our relationship. Nothing could ever do that, but it's meant to give them freedom. Freedom to make their own choices. Freedom from financial stress. Freedom to be whoever they want to be. I seal each letter and give them to Jonathan. These don't get opened unless the children are actually going to receive them. If something happens and they reconcile with me before they turn 18, destroy the letters. I don't want them to be divisive. Understood? As I'm leaving, Jonathan stops me. Margaret, can I say something as your friend, not your attorney? Of course, you're handling this with remarkable grace. Most people in your situation would want revenge, would want to hurt Linda the way she hurt you. But everything you're doing is for the grandchildren, not against Linda. That speaks volumes about your character. I don't want revenge, Jonathan. I want my grandchildren to have the opportunities they deserve. If that happens to exclude Linda Welthos, are the consequences of her choices, not my revenge. 2 weeks pass. I don't hear from Linda, which doesn't surprise me. I do get a letter from her attorney, cease and desist, ordering me not to contact her or her family, not to come to their house, not to attempt to see the grandchildren. I'm being legally banned from my own daughter's life. I showed the letter to Jonathan. Can she do this, legally? Yes, she's an adult, and so are you. She has the right to cut off contact. However, you could potentially sue for grandparent visitation rights, depending on the circumstances. No, I won't force my way into their lives. If they want me gone, I'm gone. But that's not entirely true, because 3 weeks after Thanksgiving, Emma contacts me again, not through her phone. This time Linda must have taken it away. She contacts me through email, using an account Linda doesn't know about. Grandma, I'm so sorry. I haven't been able to call. Mom took our phones and put parental controls on all our computers, but I found a way around it at school. I need to talk to you. Things are really bad here. We email back and forth over the next few weeks. Emma tells me that Linda and Richard are fighting constantly, that Richard is angry about money, that Linda's business is failing. 2 of her 3 boutique locations are closing, that Linda is drinking more, that she's moody and snaps at the kids for everything. She keeps saying that if you had just helped her when she needed it instead of being selfish, none of this would be happening. I don't understand, Grandma. You were never selfish. You always helped us. I'm careful in my responses. I don't badmouth Linda. I don't defend myself against accusations Emma doesn't fully understand. I just listen and offer comfort and tell Emma I love her. Then, for months after Thanksgiving, everything falls apart for Linda. Emma emails me with the news. Grandma, Mom's business is bankrupt. All 3 stores are closing. She's crying all the time. And Dad Richard left her. He moved out yesterday, said he didn't sign up for poverty and failure. My first instinct is sympathy. Despite everything, Linda is still my daughter. I don't want her to suffer. But then I remember her words, "You're a burden. You're not family. Get out." I don't reach out. A week later, Linda calls me. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. Mom. Her voice is wrecked, broken. Nothing like the confident, cold woman who kicked me out 4 months ago. Mom, I need help. Please. Everything's falling apart. The business is gone. Richard left. I'm going to lose the house. I don't know what to do. I take a deep breath. Linda, I thought I wasn't family. Mom, please. I know I said things I shouldn't have. I was stressed. I wasn't thinking clearly, but I need you now. I need your help. What kind of help? Money. I need money. Just enough to save the house and get back on my feet. Maybe 50,000. I know you don't have a lot, but if you could take out a loan or something. I start laughing. I can't help it. The absurdity of it. 4 months ago, I was going to give her $500,000, no strings attached. Now she's begging for 50,000 and suggesting I go into debt to help her. Why are you laughing? This isn't funny. I'm about to lose everything. Linda, you already lost everything. 4 months ago. You just didn't realize it yet. What's that supposed to mean? It means I'm not giving you any money. You told me I'm not family. You threw me out of your house on Thanksgiving. You got an attorney to send me a cease and desist letter. Why would I help you now? Because you're my mother. Because that's what mothers do. Mothers also get to see their grandchildren. Mothers get invited to family holidays. Mothers don't get publicly humiliated and legally banned from their daughter's life. Linda is crying now. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Richard convinced me that you were going to be a financial burden when you got older, and I knew it. This was always about money. Please, Mom, I'm desperate. The bank is threatening foreclosure. I have 3 kids to support. Richard isn't paying child support yet. I don't have anyone else. You should have thought about that before you decided I wasn't family. Mom, no. You made your choice. Linda, now live with it. Don't call me again. I hang up. My hands are shaking, but not from regret. From anger. From the sheer audacity of her calling me only when she needs money. Not to apologize. Not to ask for forgiveness. But to ask for cash. She calls back 3 times. I don't answer. She leaves voicemails begging, crying, promising she'll make it up to me. I delete them without listening to the whole thing. Emma emails me that night. Grandma, Mom, is hysterical. She keeps saying you refused to help her, that you're heartless. But I don't blame you. After what she did to you, why should you help her? I write back carefully. Your mother is going through a very difficult time. I hope she finds a way through it. But sweetie, I need you to understand something. Sometimes people don't want a relationship, they want a resource. They want someone they can use. I won't be that for your mother. I love her, but I won't be used. Over the next 2 months, Linda's life continues to spiral. She loses the house. She and the kids move into a small apartment. She gets a job as a manager at a retail store, a massive step down from business owner. And the pay is a fraction of what she made before. Richard files for divorce and fights her on custody. He claims she's an unfit mother because of her financial instability. Linda has to spend money she doesn't have on a lawyer. In the end, they get joint custody. But Richard pays minimal child support because his lawyer proves most of his assets are in his company, not his personal accounts. Linda tries to reach out to me for more times over those months. Each time, it's to ask for money. She never apologizes for what she said at Thanksgiving. She never acknowledges how she treated me. She just wants me to solve her problems. I don't respond. Emma turns 16. She gets her license and a part-time job. She starts saving money because she can see that Linda can't afford to help her with college. Jake is 13 now, angry and withdrawn. Sophie is 9 and confused about why their lives changed so dramatically. And me, I'm doing fine. Better than fine. I volunteer more. I travel a little, nothing extravagant. Just weekend trips to nearby cities. I join a book club, I take a watercolor painting class, and discover I'm not terrible at it. I'm living my life, the life Linda said I didn't have because I was too busy living vicariously through her. 18 months after Thanksgiving, Emma emails me with a request that breaks my heart. Grandma, my birthday is next month. I know Mom probably won't let you come to anything she plans, but could we meet somewhere? Just us. I miss you so much. We meet at a small cafe halfway between her school and my apartment. When I see her walk in, I barely recognize her. She's taller, more mature, but it's not just physical. She carries herself differently, older, sadder. She hugs me so hard I can barely breathe. I've missed you so much, Grandma. I've missed you too, sweetheart. We order coffee and pastries, and Emma fills me in on everything I've missed. School, friends, her anxiety about college applications. She doesn't talk about Linda unless I ask, and even then, her answers are careful. Mom's really struggling, Emma finally says. She's working all the time, she's stressed constantly, and she's still so angry at you. At me. For what? For not helping her when she needed it. She tells anyone who'll listen that you abandoned her in her time of need, that you're a selfish old woman who cares more about being right than about family. I feel that familiar anger rising, but push it down. What do you think, Emma? Am I selfish? Emma meets my eyes. I think you're the strongest person I know, and I think Mom made her own problems. She's the one who kicked you out. She's the one who said you weren't family. You don't owe her anything. Thank you for understanding. Jake doesn't see it that way. He's mad at you too. He thinks you should help Mom because she's struggling. And Sophie just wants everyone to stop fighting. She's 9. She doesn't understand any of this. Emma's eyes fill with tears. I hate what Mom did to our family. Everything was fine before that Thanksgiving. We were happy. And then she just destroyed it. For what? Because Richard convinced her you were going to be expensive someday. Is that what she told you? Jake heard them arguing one night. Richard was saying that elder care is expensive and they needed to cut you off before you started needing help. Mom agreed with him. And then, at Thanksgiving, she did it. She planned the whole thing. The betrayal cuts deep all over again. My own daughter, planning to publicly humiliate me, rehearsing her speech, gathering an audience to witness my shame. Grandma, can I tell you something? And you can't tell anyone, not even Mom. Of course, sweetheart. When I turn 18 in 2 years, I'm leaving. I'm going to college as far away as I can get, and I don't know if I'm ever coming back. I love Jake and Sophie, but I can't live with Mom anymore. She's bitter and angry all the time. Everything is someone else's fault. First it was you, then Richard, now her employees, her landlord, the economy. She never takes responsibility for anything. Emma, that's your mother. I don't want you to regret. I won't regret it. She's not the person I thought she was. The way she treated you showed me who she really is, and I don't want to be anything like her. We talked for 2 more hours. When it's time for Emma to leave, I give her an envelope. What's this? Your birthday present. Don't open it until you're alone. Inside is a card with $500 in cash and a note for college applications, SAT prep, or anything else you need. I believe in you. Love, Grandma. After Emma leaves, I sit in my car and cry. Happy tears this time, because at least one of my grandchildren knows the truth. At least Emma sees through Linda's lies. That night, Emma emails me. Thank you for the money, Grandma, but thank you more for believing in me. I love you so much. I'm so sorry Mom doesn't see what she lost. Over the next 6 months, I see Emma twice more in secret. We meet at the same cafe. She tells me about her college applications. She's applying to schools across the country, focusing on the ones with the best financial aid. She's brilliant, my Emma. Straight A's, leadership positions, volunteer work. She'll get in anywhere she applies. I want to tell her about the trust fund, about the $2 million waiting for her, about how she doesn't need to worry about financial aid because she's already set for life. But I don't. Jonathan advised against it. Wait until she's 18, he said. She can keep a secret now, but the knowledge might change her choices. Let her make decisions based on her own merit, not on financial security she doesn't know she has yet. He's right, so I stay quiet. Jake reaches out to me once, asking for money for a school trip. I send him $200 through Emma, but don't hear from him again. Sophie is too young to contact me on her own. According to Emma, she talks about me sometimes, asks when she can see Grandma again, and Linda always changes the subject. Then, 2 years after Thanksgiving, everything changes again. Emma turns 18. She's accepted to Stanford with a partial scholarship. It's her dream school, but even with the scholarship, she need to take out significant loans. Linda can't help her, barely has enough to cover the apartment rent. On Emma's 18th birthday, Jonathan calls her Miss Emma Harrison. This is Jonathan Chen. I'm an attorney, and I have some information for you, from your grandmother, Margaret Harrison. Do you have time to meet with me? Emma calls me immediately, panicking. Grandma, did something happen to you? Are you okay? I'm fine, sweetheart. Better than fine. Meet with Mr. Chen. He has something important to tell you. 2 days later, Emma calls me sobbing. Grandma, I don't understand. Mr. Chen says I have $2 million, that you set up a trust for me, that you did it 2 years ago, right after Mom kicked you out. Is this real? It's real, sweetheart. But how? Where did you get that kind of money? You live in a small apartment. You drive an old car. I thought you thought I was poor. Everyone did. That's how I wanted it. I tell her the story. About the tech company, about the buyout, about the decision to live modestly and save for the people I loved, about planning to give her mother $500,000 before Linda decided I was a burden. Emma is quiet for a long time. Then, Mom doesn't know, does she? No one knows except my attorney, my financial advisor, and now you. What about Jake and Sophie? They each have identical trusts. They'll find out when they turn 18. Grandma, I don't even know what to say. Thank you doesn't seem like enough. You don't need to thank me. I'm your grandmother. This is what grandmothers do. We invest in our grandchildren's futures. But Mom, your mother made her choices. These trusts are for you, Jake, and Sophie. Not for her. She's going to be so angry when she finds out. Probably, but that's not your problem to solve. Emma is quiet again. Does this mean I don't have to worry about college loans? It means you can go to Stanford and focus on your education instead of worrying about money. It means you have the freedom to make choices based on what you want, not what you can afford. She starts crying again. I love you so much, Grandma. I wish things were different. I wish Mom hadn't ruined everything. Me too, sweetheart. Me too. Emma doesn't tell Linda about the trust fund. Not at first. She accepts Stanford's offer and tells Linda she'll figure out the financial side. Linda, still struggling with her own money problems, seems relieved not to have to help, but 3 months later, when Emma is packing for college, Linda notices something. New clothes, a new laptop, a quality suitcase, things a broke teenager with a part-time retail job shouldn't be able to afford. Where did you get the money for all this? Linda demands. Emma could lie. She probably should lie, but she's 18 now, an adult, and she's tired of protecting her mother from the consequences of her own actions. Grandma gave it to me. Linda's face goes white, then red. What? Well, technically she set up a trust fund for me 2 years ago. I got access to it when I turned 18. $2 million, Mom. Grandma made sure I'd never have to worry about money. 2 million. Linda can't even finish the sentence. Where did she get that kind of money? She sold a tech company for $12 million 23 years ago. She's been living modestly on purpose. She was going to give you $500,000 that Thanksgiving to help with your business, but then you called her a burden and kicked her out. I'm not there to see Linda's face, but Emma tells me about it later, about how Linda went pale, then sat down hard on the couch, then started shaking, about how the reality of what she'd thrown away hit her all at once. She threw up. Emma tells me over the phone from her dorm room at Stanford, actually threw up. Then she started crying and saying $500,000 over and over again. Then she got angry, really angry, started screaming about how you manipulated us, how you turned me against her, how you should have told her about the money. What did you say? I told her the truth, that you didn't manipulate anyone, that she's the one who destroyed our relationship, and that, if she hadn't been so cruel 2 years ago, she'd have the money she desperately needed now. Then, I finished packing and left. How are things with you and your mom now? Emma sighs. Not great. She calls me every few days asking if I can access the trust principal and loan her money. I keep telling her no, that Mr. Chen controls it until I'm 25, but she doesn't believe me. She thinks I'm lying to punish her. I'm sorry you're caught in the middle of this. I'm not in the middle. I'm on your side. I've always been on your side, Grandma. What she did was unforgivable. Over the next few months, Linda tries everything to get to my money. She calls me directly. I don't answer. She sends letters. I don't respond. She even shows up at my apartment building once, but I have the doorman turn her away. Finally, she tries the nuclear option. She files a lawsuit claiming I'm mentally incompetent, and that the trust funds should be voided and the money returned to her as my next of kin. Jonathan calls me the day he receives the papers. Margaret, your daughter is suing you. She's claiming you weren't of sound mind when you changed your will and set up the trusts, that you were suffering from dementia or were being manipulated by me. Can she win? Not a chance. We have documentation of your mental competency from multiple doctors. We have witnesses to your sound decision. And frankly, the timing works against her. You made these changes immediately after she kicked you out, which shows you were responding rationally to a real situation, not acting from dementia. How long will this take? A few months. We'll have to go to court, but it should be straightforward. I'm more concerned about what this is doing to your grandchildren. He's right to be concerned. Emma is furious when she finds out. Jake, who's now 15, finally reaches out to me directly. Grandma, I'm sorry. I was wrong about everything. Mom's been lying to me for 2 years about why you don't come around anymore. She said you abandoned us, that you chose to be alone rather than be part of our family. But then, Emma told me the truth about Thanksgiving, about what Mom really said to you, about the trust funds. I'm so sorry I believed her. Jake, honey, you were 13. You believed your mother because that's what kids are supposed to do. But I should have questioned it. Emma did. She never believed Mom's lies. Everyone processes things differently. What matters is that you know the truth now. Can I see you? I know you're probably mad at me. I'm not mad at you. I've never been mad at you. I'd love to see you. We meet at a park near his school. He's almost as tall as I am now, gangly in that teenage way. When he sees me, he runs over and hugs me. I've missed you so much, Grandma. I'm so sorry for everything. We talk for hours. He tells me about school, about his friends, about his plans to maybe study engineering in college. He tells me that Sophie asks about me constantly, and Linda finally told her a version of the truth, that Grandma and Mommy had a fight and aren't talking anymore. She's 8 years old and she thinks she did something wrong. Jake says, his voice breaking. She thinks if she's extra good, you'll come back. I tried to tell her it's not about her, but she doesn't understand. My heart breaks. Can you tell her something for me? Tell her that Grandma loves her very, very much. That I think about her every single day, and that none of this is her fault. I will, Grandma. When I turn 18, you'll have a trust fund too. Just like Emma. His eyes go wide. Really, really, same amount, same terms. And when you turn 18, you'll get a letter from me explaining everything. Jake starts crying. Why are you so good to us when our mom was so horrible to you? Because you're my grandchildren. Because I love you. And because what happened between your mother and me has nothing to do with you. The lawsuit drags on for 4 months. Linda's lawyer tries every angle, claims I was manipulated by Jonathan, claims I was suffering from early dementia, claims the trust funds are unfairly structured. Nothing sticks. When we finally go to court, the judge takes less than an hour to throw out the case. Miss Harrison, the judge says, looking at Linda over her reading glasses, your mother has provided ample documentation of her mental competency. She has the right to distribute her assets as she sees fit. The fact that you disagree with her choices doesn't make them invalid. Case dismissed. Linda tries to argue, but the judge cuts her off. Furthermore, I'm ordering you to pay Mrs. Margaret Harrison's legal fees. Your lawsuit was frivolous and appears to be motivated by greed rather than genuine concern for your mother's well-being. The legal fees total $42,000. Linda doesn't have it. She has to set up a payment plan with Jonathan's firm, paying $500 a month. It'll take her 7 years to pay it off. Emma texts me from Stanford. Mom got what she deserved. I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but it's true. After the lawsuit fails, Linda's harassment intensifies briefly, then stops altogether. I find out why through John. Started seeing a therapist who's finally making her confront her own role in everything that happened. The therapist asked her why she kicked you out that Thanksgiving. Jake tells me, Mom said it was because Richard convinced her you'd be a financial burden. The therapist asked why she didn't just talk to you about it like an adult. Mom didn't have an answer. Is the therapy helping? I think so. She's been less angry lately, less bitter. She even said your name the other day without spitting venom. That's progress. She asked if I'd be willing to do family therapy with her. I said only if she apologizes to you first. She said she's working up to it. I don't hold my breath waiting for an apology. And sure enough, months pass without a word from Linda. Jake turns 16, gets his license, gets a job. Sophie turns 10 and starts asking more direct questions about why Grandma doesn't visit anymore. Jake finally tells her an age-appropriate version of the truth, that Mom said some really mean things to Grandma. And they're not talking right now. But you talked to Grandma, Sophie points out with kid logic. So why can't Mom just say sorry and we can all be a family again? Because Mom doesn't think she did anything wrong, but she did do something wrong. Being mean is wrong. Teacher says so. Out of the mouths of babes. Emma comes home for her first Thanksgiving break from Stanford. She doesn't stay with Linda. She gets a hotel room and spends most of her time with friends. But she does have one dinner with her mother, and Linda apparently spends the entire time trying to get Emma to convince me to give her money. She has no shame, Emma tells me, no self-awareness at all. She still thinks she's the victim in all of this. 3 years after that terrible Thanksgiving, Jake turns 18. Just like Emma before him, he gets a call from Jonathan Chen. When he finds out about the trust fund, he calls me immediately. Grandma, I don't even know what to say. $2 million. This is insane. It's real. And it's yours. Does Sophie have one too? She does. She find out when she's 18. And Mom still doesn't know about Sophie's. Not unless you or Emma told her. We haven't said a word. Let her find out when Sophie turns 18. Maybe by then she have figured out how badly she screwed up. Jake reads his letter from me, the one I wrote 3 years ago, and calls me crying. You wrote this right after she kicked you out. You were hurting so badly, and you still made sure we'd be taken care of. That's love, Grandma. Real love. I've always loved you kids. Nothing your mother did changed that. I want to see you, not just once. I want you to be part of my life again. I'm 18 now. She can't stop me. We start meeting regularly, once a week, sometimes more. We go to museums, movies, restaurants. We talk about everything: his college plans, his girlfriend, his complicated feelings about his mother. I love her. He tells me over dinner one night, she's my mom, but I don't like her very much, and I don't respect her. Is that terrible? It's honest, and sometimes that's all we can be. Linda finds out that Jake and I are seeing each other regularly. She calls him in a rage. You're betraying me. After everything I've done for you. What have you done for me, Mom? Kicked out the one person who actually showed up for our family. Lied to us for years about why Grandma wasn't around. Tried to steal our trust funds. Tell me exactly what you've done that I should be grateful for. Jake tells me she hung up without answering. Emma graduates from Stanford with honors. She's been accepted to several prestigious graduate programs. She has job offers from major tech companies. She's going to be successful, and it has nothing to do with the trust fund. She would have made it anyway. But the trust fund means she can take the job she wants rather than the job that pays the most. She can pursue her passions without drowning in debt. At her graduation, I sit in the audience with Jake. Linda is there too, sitting on the other side of the ceremony with Sophie. When Emma crosses the stage, I cheer loudly. Linda is crying, and I don't know if it's from pride or regret or both. After the ceremony, Emma comes to find me. She hugs me tight. I wouldn't be here without you, Grandma. The trust fund paid for everything Stanford's scholarship didn't cover. I had zero stress about money. I could focus on my studies and my research. That's a gift I can never repay. You don't repay it. You pay it forward. Someday, you'll have children or grandchildren of your own. You'll help them the way I helped you. That's how it works. Emma looks over at Linda, who's standing alone while Sophie talks to friends. Do you think she ever apologized? I don't know. Probably not. Doesn't that make you angry? It used to. Now, I just feel sad for her. She destroyed our relationship over money she thought I might need someday. And in the process, she lost access to money that could have saved her. There's a poetry to it, but it's tragic poetry. For years after that Thanksgiving, Linda's life has stabilized somewhat. She's still managing the retail store. She's dating someone new, a kind man who's a teacher, nothing like Richard. She's still in therapy, and according to Jake, she's starting to understand what she lost. She asked about you yesterday, he tells me, asked how you were doing. I told her you were great. She got this look on her face, I can't even describe it. Regret, maybe, or just sadness. Did she ask you to reach out to me? No. I think she knows that bridges burned. Sophie turns 13. She's a sweet kid, creative and empathetic. She makes art and writes poetry and asks questions about the world that show a deep sensitivity. Emma and Jake both say she asks about me often, but Linda still hasn't told her the full truth. She tells Sophie you and she grew apart. Emma says that sometimes adult relationships just end. She won't admit she kicked you out, won't admit she called you a burden in front of 20 people. Maybe that's for the best. Sophie doesn't need to know how cruel her mother was. She'll find out eventually, when she turns 18 and gets her trust fund. She read your letter. She know everything. 5 years after that Thanksgiving, I'm 77 now, still healthy, still active, still living my modest but comfortable life. I've traveled more, took a trip to Italy with a friend, visited national parks, spent a week in Maine painting watercolors. Emma is thriving in her career. Jake is in college studying engineering, using his trust fund to pay for it outright. And Sophie is 15, preparing for high school. Linda tried to reach out to me one more time, on the 5-year anniversary of that Thanksgiving. She sent me a letter, actually mailed it, handwritten. Dear Mom, I've been in therapy for 3 years now, working through what happened. My therapist says I need to take accountability. So here it is. I was wrong. I was cruel. I said things I can never take back. I destroyed our relationship because I was scared and greedy, and listened to a man who didn't have my best interests at heart. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. I know I don't deserve to be part of your life, but I want you to know that I regret what I did every single day. I see what Emma and Jake have with you, the relationship I destroyed, and it breaks my heart. I understand if you never want to speak to me again. I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Linda. I read the letter 3 times. I feel ... something. Not forgiveness, exactly. Not yet, but maybe the beginning of it, the possibility of it. I don't respond immediately. I sit with it for a week. I talk it over with Emma and Jake. It's up to you, Grandma, Emma says. You don't owe her anything, but for what it's worth, I think she finally gets it. She finally understands what she lost. Do you want a relationship with her again? Jake asks. I don't know. Part of me will always love her, she's my daughter. But do I want her in my life, after what she did? I honestly don't know. After 2 weeks, I write back, just a short note. Linda, I received your letter. I appreciate the apology. I'm not ready to rebuild our relationship yet. Maybe someday. For now, I'm glad you're in therapy and working on yourself. That's important. Take care of yourself and your children, Mom. It's not forgiveness, but it's not rejection either. It's somewhere in between, a door left slightly ajar instead of slammed shut. Linda doesn't push. She doesn't call or write again. According to Emma, she cried when she got my response. But they were good tears. Relieved tears. The tears of someone who didn't expect even that small olive branch. 3 more years pass. I'm 80 now, still healthy, though I'm slowing down a bit. I spend more time at home, less time traveling. Emma is engaged to a wonderful man she met at work. Jake has graduated and landed his dream job. And Sophie is about to turn 18. Sophie still doesn't know about the trust fund. She doesn't know about any of this. History just knows that Grandma and Mom had a falling out and don't talk much. She's asked to meet me a few times, and Linda has actually allowed it, chaperoned it first, then gradually letting us have our own relationship. Sophie is remarkable. At 17, she's already talking about studying social work, about helping families in crisis. She's empathetic and wise beyond her years. I don't know what happened between you and Mom. She tells me over coffee one day, and I don't need to know, but I'm glad I get to know you now. You're pretty cool for a grandma. I laugh. Pretty cool. The coolest. Emma and Jake say the same thing. When Sophie turns 18, Jonathan calls her just like he did with Emma and Jake. And just like her siblings, she calls me immediately, shocked and crying. Grandma, Mr. Chen says I have $2 million, that you set it up 8 years ago, that Emma and Jake have the same thing. Is this real? It's very real, sweetheart. But why? I barely know you. We only started seeing each other last year. Because you're my granddaughter. Because I love you. Because I wanted to make sure you had opportunities and freedom and security, even if your mother and I weren't speaking. Sophie is quiet for a long moment. Mr. Chen gave me a letter from you. He said to read it when I'm alone. What's in it, Grandma? The truth. About what happened 8 years ago. About why your mother and I stopped speaking. About the choices that were made. I'm scared to read it. You don't have to read it if you don't want to. The trust fund is yours either way. No, I want to know. I need to know. I'm just scared of what it's going to say about Mom. That evening, Sophie reads the letter. Then she calls me, crying harder than before. She kicked you out, on Thanksgiving, in front of everyone, and told you that you weren't family. Yes, and you were going to give her $500,000 that same day. Yes, oh my God, Grandma. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. She told us, you guys just drifted apart, that it was mutual. She never said. Sophie can't finish. She's sobbing. Sweetheart, it's okay. It's in the past. It's not okay. She was horrible to you. And you still live in after what she did. You still made sure we'd be taken care of. You still loved us. I never stopped loving you. Not for a second. I need to talk to Mom. I need to know why she lied to me all these years. The confrontation between Sophie and Linda is apparently explosive. Sophie tells me about it later, still angry and hurt. She tried to say it was complicated, that I wouldn't understand. I told her, I understand perfectly. She was greedy and cruel, and she destroyed our family because of it. She started crying and saying she was different now, that she's changed. I told her she's had 8 years to tell me the truth, and she chose to keep lying. How did she respond? She admitted everything. The plan to cut you off before you became expensive, Richard manipulating her, the Thanksgiving speech, all of it. She said she's been too ashamed to tell us the truth, that she knew if we knew what really happened, we'd hate her. Do you hate her? Sophie is quiet. I don't know. I love her because she's my mom, but I'm so disappointed in her, and I'm angry that she kept this from me. Emma and Jake have known for years. I'm the only one who was still in the dark. They were protecting you. You were younger. They didn't want to damage your relationship with your mother. Well, she damaged it herself. I don't know if I can forgive her for this. Linda calls me that night. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. Mom. Her voice is hoarse from crying. I know you have no reason to listen to me, but I need to say something. I'm listening. Sophie knows everything now. About Thanksgiving, about the trust funds, about what I did to you, and she's furious with me, disgusted with me, just like Emma was, just like Jake was, and I deserve it. I deserve all of it. She takes a shaky breath. But I need you to know, Aunt. I know it doesn't change anything, but I need you to know that you were right about everything. I was greedy. I was cruel. I destroyed the best relationship I had because I was scared of something that hadn't even happened yet. And I've spent 8 years paying for it. Linda, no, please, let me finish. I lost my business. I lost my house. I lost Richard. Thank God for that at least. But worst of all, I almost lost my kids. Emma barely speaks to me. Jake is polite but distant. And now Sophie looks at me like I'm a stranger, like she doesn't know who I am. They're hurt. They need time. I know, but Mom, I also need you to know that I understand now. I understand that you gave me everything. Your time, your love, your support, your money. You would have given me $500,000 that day, and I threw it all away because of my own stupidity and Richard's manipulation. You can't blame Richard for all of it. You made your own choices. You're right, I did, and they were terrible choices, the worst of my life. There's a long silence. Finally, I asked the question I've been wondering about for 8 years. Why, Linda? Why did you do it that way? Even if you wanted to cut me off, why did you have to be so cruel about it? Why the public humiliation? She's crying again, because Richard said it had to be definitive, that if I did it privately, you'd try to talk me out of it. He said I needed witnesses so you couldn't manipulate me into changing my mind, he said. Her voice breaks completely. He said a lot of things that I believed because I was too weak to think for myself. And by the time I realized how wrong he was about everything, it was too late. The damage was done. You could have apologized. You could have tried to fix it. I know, I should have, but I was too proud, too embarrassed, too convinced that admitting I was wrong would make me look weak. And then months turned into years, and it felt like too much time had passed, like the wound was too deep to heal. So why are you calling me now? What's changed, Sophie? Sophie changed everything. She looks at me the way you must have looked at me 8 years ago, with disappointment and hurt and betrayal. And I finally understand what I did to you. I finally feel the weight of it. I sit with this for a moment. What do you want from me, Linda? I want to say I'm sorry. Really, truly sorry. Not because I want something from you. Not because I need your money. Just because you deserve to hear it. You deserved to hear it 8 years ago. And I was too broken and stubborn to say it. I appreciate the apology. Is there any chance? She stops herself. Never mind. I have no right to ask for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry. That I understand now. That if I could go back and change that Thanksgiving, I would give anything to do it differently. You can't change the past, Linda. None of us can. I know. But maybe she hesitates. Maybe we could try to build a future. Not right away. I know you need time, if you're even willing at all. But maybe someday. Emma's getting married next year. She's going to invite you. Would you be willing to be in the same room with me? To maybe start the process of being a family again? I think about it. About 8 years of pain and betrayal. But also about 3 grandchildren who want their family whole again. About Sophie's earnest face asking me about my life. About Jake's weekly visits where we talk about everything. About Emma's joy when she got engaged and immediately wanted to share it with me. I'll come to Emma's wedding, I finally say, and I'll be civil to you. But Linda, I need you to understand we can't just go back to how things were. Too much has happened. Trust takes years to build and seconds to destroy. You destroyed ours spectacularly. I know, I'm not asking to go back. I'm just asking for the chance to move forward, slowly, with therapy and honest conversations and me actually doing the work to be better. Then that's what we'll do, slowly, one day at a time. Thank you, Mom, thank you. After we hang up, I sit in my quiet apartment and think about forgiveness, about whether it's possible to forgive someone who hurt you so deeply, about whether I even want to. The truth is, I don't know. I don't know if our relationship can ever be repaired. I don't know if I'll ever trust Linda again, but I know I'm willing to try. For the grandchildren who love us both, for the possibility that people can change, for the hope that families, even broken ones, can find a way to heal. 8 years ago, Linda called me a burden and told me I wasn't family. Today, she apologized and asked if we could try again. I don't know what the future holds, but I know this: I'm not a burden. I never was. I'm a woman who built a successful company, raised a daughter, and made sure my grandchildren would have every opportunity in life. I'm strong and independent and generous. And if Linda has finally figured that out, well, maybe there's hope for us after all. 10 months later, I stand in a beautiful garden watching Emma marry the love of her life. The whole family is there: Jake and his girlfriend, Sophie looking grown up in her bridesmaid dress, and Linda, sitting 3 rows behind me. We're not close again, not yet, maybe not ever, but we're speaking, we're polite, and when Emma specifically asks me and Linda to both be in a photo with her, we stand on either side of our beautiful granddaughter and smile. It's not perfect. It's not what I'd hoped for 8 years ago when I was planning to give Linda $500,000 and help save her business, but it's something, a fragile piece, a tentative bridge being rebuilt one careful stone at a time. As Emma and her new husband take their first dance, Jake comes to stand beside me. You okay, Grandma? I'm okay, more than okay. Look at what we've all become. He follows my gaze to where Emma is laughing with her husband, to where Sophie is dancing with friends, to where Linda stands alone watching her daughter with tears in her eyes. We survived, Jake says simply. That's what families do. They break and hurt each other, and then, if they're lucky, they find a way to survive anyway. You're very wise for 21. I learned from the best. He kisses my cheek and goes to ask Sophie to dance. I watch my 3 grandchildren, beautiful, successful, kind people who I helped raise even when their mother tried to push me away, and I think about that terrible Thanksgiving 8 years ago. Linda called me a burden. She told me I wasn't family. She threw me out in front of 20 witnesses. But she was wrong. I am family. I always was, and no matter what she said or did, nothing could change that. Because family isn't just about blood. It's about showing up. It's about sacrifice. It's about loving people even when they hurt you. I am family, and I always will be. The end.